And people were sitting on the floor. I was like, what? Yeah.
It means that we're cooperative.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or that we're desperate.
We had a lot of really good questions.
Yes.
A lot of really good
You
questions.
guys are going to get the best of it because you all have great time for all your questions versus 75 people in a 60-person room.
That's right. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And I just want to, some of y'all in the room know who I am, but for those of you who don't know who I am Julia Osteen, and I'm an instructor in the College of Education. And I'm the Technology Integration Specialist in the Ayers Institute for Teacher Learning and Innovation, which is part of the College of Education here. And what we do in the Ayers Institute is we support higher education instructors as well as K-12 teachers and leaders on a number of things that help to increase student outcomes, okay? So that's the shortened version. But I'm excited to be here to share this information with you, and Forrest will introduce himself.
Yes, I'm here to help. I'm Forrest Oddington. That's what the government always says, right? Forrest Oddington, I also work in the Ayers Institute, so Julie and I are partners in crime. As content technology specialist, my job is to support with webinars and podcasts along with the technical side. Some similarities to technology you're going to be using in the next few weeks as you work with your students. So I'm here. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll be floating around throughout the session.
Okay, great. So hopefully everybody got a handout. Raise your hand if you have not received a handout. Okay, Forrest will bring it to you. So our objectives for this session is to identify 3 elements of effective online learning and to explore the use of Zoom for remote teaching, as well as to analyze the use of Canvas Studio and Panopto that can benefit remote teaching. And then for you to reflect on what are your next steps moving toward having class remotely, okay? So I want to share with you about the framework for effective online teaching and learning. This is on your handout. You'll notice on the handout at the top, there's a section that talks about, and it comes from research, and it talks about what students look for in an online experience, okay? And then you have the chart, and in that chart, there are 3 elements that are key to an effective online experience: social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. Social presence is really how are the students interacting with one another, and how are those connections being made? How are those relationships being built? Cognitive presence is how are the students interacting with the content, and how is the content provided in such a way that encourages deeper thinking. And then teaching presence has to do with the instructor's connections with the students while online. What are the things you're making available to your students to allow them to feel that connection with you as their guide through this content? So in your chart, you'll see there are descriptors, and those are up here. You'll also see that there is a column which explains some key indicators for that particular thing. So how do you know if your course has social presence? Well, then there are some indicators. Those are not all an exhausted list of examples, but just some. And then the last column you'll see are some tools that support that particular element. We are going to focus on today 3 tools: Zoom, Canvas Studio, and Panopto. Okay? So we're going directly into Zoom. How many of you have used Zoom before? I know a few of you have. Okay, so you may have things we can add to this list, but Zoom can be used to hold class synchronously at the same time online. It can be used to meet with students who need help, so for online office hours. It can be used to record a presentation video with your slides as well as your webcam, so your face is recorded. It can be used for guest speakers. If you have guest speakers that you want to interact with your class It can be used for that as well. It can be used for students to share presentations, and you can record those presentations in Zoom. And then it can be used for students to meet with group members for projects. Okay? So it really can be used for a lot of different things. Those of you who've used it before, what would you add to this list? Yep.
Had an instructor teach through Zoom in a civil class here on campus, but acted like a guest teacher, but he was an instructor of record.
Right, so even if people are gathered together, but the person teaching was somewhere else, then they could teach into the class. Yeah, absolutely. Okay? Yes?
Office hours?
Yep, online office hours, yeah. If students need like extra help, if you're needing to provide some extra support or having a conference with them regarding their writing or any number of things like that, absolutely, you can do that. Okay? So as we get started, I'm going to take you through how you would get started. Then we're actually going to go into Zoom together for me to show you some things. So first thing is, if you do not already have a Zoom account, you need to set up a Zoom account. Now, in order to sign up for your free account, okay, first of all, Lipscomb, has some pro accounts. However, those have pretty much been taken up already. So however many Lipscomb paid for, that's been maxed out at this point. So if you need to make an account at this point, you need to make a free account. To do that, you go to zoom.us to make your account. Zoom.us. Now here's the key. When you go to make your account, you need to use your Lipscomb email address for that account. That is the way Zoom is going to know you're part of the Lipscomb group in Zoom. Okay? So you go to zoom.us, sign up for your free account using your Lipscomb email address. Then, once you have signed up for that account, then you're going to go into another URL. You're going to go to lipscomb.zoom.us and log in. And that only allows you to log in there because you've used your Lipscomb email to set up the account. Okay? I highly encourage you to download and install the Zoom launcher. That is some software that needs to go on your computer. You're going to get the most features by downloading that launcher. I also highly encourage you, even though it will work on tablets and as well as smartphones, I highly encourage you to host your Zoom meetings from your computers. And yes?
So if you already have a Zoom account, just use that.
If you already have a Zoom account, just use it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's only if you didn't have a Zoom account. Okay? So then I would go to the Zoom test meeting. I would do this from the place I'm expecting to do the majority of my Zoom sessions from. So if that's your living room, you want to test your computer you're going to be using in your living room. If it's from your office, you're going to be testing it from your office, okay? It'll take you through to be able to test your audio, video, and it'll come up and tell you if there's something missing that it needs in order to run properly. And when you get those messages, if it gives you all green checks, you're good to go. But if it gives you a message saying you don't have something, that's when you can let IT help desk know, hey, I was setting up Zoom and I got this message. Can you help? And they will help you. Also, Zoom highly recommends that you test your connection speed. This is the recommended site to use to test your connection speed. It will test how fast are things uploading and downloading for you. And if it's slow, it'll come up and tell you, okay, this could be a problem. If it's slow, what do? You find another room in your house where the connection is better, or find another place to do it from, which might be Panera. Also, before you have your first Zoom session, find a quiet space that you're going to do this from. Really think through, what potential background noises am I going to have? Am I going to have a crying baby? Am I going to have dogs barking in the background? You know, what are the potential issues here? Also, think about using headphones or earbuds, because that increases the quality of the audio when you do that. I also encourage all of my students to use earbuds or headphones. It just is better when they do. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's better. You're going to open Zoom via the downloaded program, and then go ahead and test your headphones, microphone, camera. Make sure everything's working, that the class will be able to see you, that sort of thing. Okay, so when you set up your account and you've logged in to lipscomb.zoom.us, then you're going to click, you'll see it comes up to a screen. It has these options on the left. You're going to click on meetings. And then there will be a blue button, schedule a new meeting. So you click that. When you go into that, there's a lot of options here. And this is where people who've used Zoom before, if you want to chime in on your thoughts about these things, because I'm basically sharing with you my thoughts about them, okay? So first thing is up here, topic. Think about how you want it labeled so you know what it is when you go back to a list of your different meetings. This is the time and date it's going to occur, how long, and the time zone. And Hope said earlier, just think of everything in Lipscomb time, Central Time Zone, and communicate that to our students so if they're in the West Coast, they can adjust accordingly. You have other options here, recurring meeting, registration required. I would not require registration because that adds a whole nother layer on top and it just makes it more complicated for the students. I always have it generate automatically the meeting ID. I never touch that. I can require a meeting password, but only my students get the link anyway, so I don't see a need to. Then, as you move on down that page, you have more options. These are really important. Video. I have mine set to off. Now, if you set it to on, what's going to happen is when you and your students log into Zoom, it automatically engages their camera. So it automatically engages their video. Here's what Julia doesn't want to happen. I don't want somebody to be like logging in and not fully be camera ready, if you get my drift. And all of a sudden I'm seeing things I'd really rather not see. So I choose not to do that. I choose to have it off. That way they have to engage the video, and by engaging the video, they're saying, I'm camera ready. Okay? You have to think through this, y'all. People do all kinds of, I've seen weird things. People be sitting.
See things you're not supposed to see, you're not supposed to.
I'm like, oh man, I wish I never saw that. I mean, you know, and even just things like somebody chomping on their lunch. You know, I'm like, okay, I could do without that, right? So, I mean, there's just any number of things that could be going on, and I simply choose, but I do require my students to engage their camera. But I say, okay, as you come in the room and you're ready, engage that camera, you know. And then if somebody doesn't, I'll say, hey, we're waiting on you to, you know, engage your camera. Audio. I always choose both. So you can choose telephone, computer, audio, or both. I always choose both. Here's why. Somebody will have a problem with their computer audio. So then what do? Instead of just being out of luck, Now they can, there's a Zoom app, so they can switch their phone and use the Zoom app. But if that doesn't work, then it gives them call-in numbers that they can use the old-fashioned way and join via audio. So to me, that's just giving backups, right? So I always choose both on that. And I'll show you what that gives you when you do that. In the meeting options, you'll see enable join before host. So on that particular option, what that does is that means if you're not in the room yet, your students can go ahead and come in the room, okay? If you don't want that, there are two ways to handle it. First of all, just take the check mark off. And what that does is when they click it, it'll say, you cannot join that meeting because your host is not there yet, okay? Or instead of that, keep that checked and enable waiting room. When you enable the waiting room, what it does is until you're in there, it dumps them in a holding room, and it'll say, you will join the main room when your host has logged into the main room, or when your host has started the meeting, I think is what the wording is. And they'll just sit there, and it'll automatically bring them in once I've started the meeting, once I've gone in. So you can handle that either way. You can mute participants upon entry if you want to. So all their sounds would start muted off. So this up here, remember, had to do with video. This has to do with audio sound being muted upon entry. The other one is breakout room pre-assigned down here. You have the capability in Zoom to have breakout rooms. So let's say we're all together in the virtual room and we want to have small group discussions. Then I can use breakout rooms in Zoom, and I can tell it, okay, I want to do 4 rooms, randomly assign the students into the room for discussion. And they all go to their breakout room, they have their instructions from me, what they're doing, and then I can even put a timer on it and bring them back to the main room so that then we can have a debrief together. So you can do small group work that way. So that's what that is. If you don't see that as an option, you have to enable breakout rooms first. Okay, and that is on the website, the Zoom website. I hope. Let's see if I still have it. Oh, I think it queued me out. Here we go. Okay, so here's the website. You can go to settings, and under meeting, you scroll down here, and it's a good ways down, but this is breakout room. And this is where you tell it, you have to tell it this first. You have to, yes, turn it on, and then allow host to assign participants to breakout rooms. So make sure that's checked. If that's not checked, then you can't pre-assign students. Once everybody's in the room, then you can assign them out to breakout rooms, okay? Okay, be sure to click save. Then what it brings you to is it brings you to what's called the meeting screen. And it has all this information here, and this is where you go click the copy the invitation. This is how your students get the information on how to join your Zoom session. So students do not automatically have a Zoom account. They don't have to join your session, okay? And it's not automatically like sent out to them somehow at all. You have to communicate it. So when you click that, it brings this up, and you have this down at the bottom, copy meeting invitation. Notice, because I said both audio options, I not only have the link for them to join Zoom, I also have the phones that they can tap to be able to join, or they can dial these numbers to join. Okay? So it gives them all that information.
I have a question real quickly.
Yep.
So, the invite attendees, I've got 22 people in a class. Do I have to type individually all of them in?
Here's what I do. Copy this meeting invitation,
Right.
email that out to them. Use Canvas. I can do it in Canvas. I just paste it in there.
Okay.
In Canvas, it's real easy. In Canvas Message, just to select the section and then say all
But
students.
I can't type in the H1 dash, their email address here on campus that has a LUED.
Yeah, if you want to go that route, you can, where it brings up all the section, it has the listserv. Yeah, you can do that. And you just paste this into the body. That's it. Okay? Okay, so let's try it. Everybody get into Zoom. tinyurl.com/Lipscomb Zoom, capital L, capital Z. Oh, let me put that back up. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? So sorry. tinyurl.com, capital / capital L, capital Z. Do what? Yeah, just go into your browser. And just type that into the browser. Of course, I don't know where the rest of these are, but they over here. Okay, you getting there? Look at y'all. Okay, so one thing, because we're all in the same room, please mute your sound. Otherwise, we're going to have feedback, and it's going to be crazy. So down there at the bottom of the screen, you'll see all these options. You can just mute. You don't have to mute your video, but just mute your sound there. And turn the sound off on your computer, on your speakers. Okay, when you first come in, it looks something like this, right? So you have a couple of options. If you put your cursor up to the top, you'll see there's an option of a gallery view. Right now it's in speaker view. What that means is whoever's the last person that talked that their sound was picked up, they're the ones that are going to show in the big area, okay? When you go to gallery view, this is what it looks like. So you can see all of them, all the screens, okay? And you can go into full screen, but full screen is not as helpful to me because you have options not in full screen that you don't get in full screen, or at least they're clunkier, let's put it that way. All right. So now let's say we want to see. When I click on Manage Participants down here, now you see I have a list. Here's one of the really cool things, and maybe it's just because I tend to be a control freak at times, but I actually have control over my students over here. So let's say Paul over here is doing something really funky, and we don't want to hear him. I can mute him. Or I can click that more and see all the different options that I get there.
Now,
why is he on the big screen?
Because it picked up his audio last.
Ah, okay.
Okay, and what on the big screen, what you're seeing is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie, what does it mean spotlight video?
Spotlight video. Okay, well, who did I do? I thought that I did that. No, I must have done that. Did I do it on this one? Yeah. So I'm guessing
Just allows us to manually pull up.
that means that person is going to always stay in the middle. See what I'm saying? So if you don't want it to go back and forth like that, okay. So we'll cancel that, okay. Now, when you put your cursor toward the bottom, you notice that you have fewer options as a student than what I do as the instructor. But one of the options you do have is to share your screen. So I'd like one person in here to share their screen so we can see how even our students can share their screens. When we ask them to, you're going to want to, craft rules around this. Think about etiquette while we're on Zoom. I know, all right? We're opening a can of worms a little bit.
Where's the share screen?
You have to put your cursor toward the bottom, and then it should pop up as an option. Do you see it? Either at the bottom or it may be toward the top of your screen.
So,
Oh, gotcha.
and then you can share it. That's cool.
Okay, so he's sharing a whiteboard to us, okay? Okay, so let's say, but I really don't want him to do that. So notice it has the share screen icon over here. Then I can go down here and stop sharing. So as the instructor, I have full control over that. Now, not to fully keep it from happening, but if, I can correct it quickly.
That was to the right where all the participants were at the top?
Yes,
Okay.
once the participant, when you click participants as the instructor down at the bottom, that pops up to the right. The other thing that will pop up is your chat here. So they have the ability to chat. And notice it says to everyone. Well, when you click that, you see everybody's name that's in the room. Now, let's say Paul is talking to Dodd, right? And so, and they're just having individual chat in here. As the instructor, what happens, see how this says from so-and-so to everyone, right? As the instructor, it comes up in red and it says from this person to that person. So as the instructor, I see it, nobody else does, except for those people.
No passing notes.
Then there you go, the virtual passing the notes, right. Absolutely. Okay, somebody's having fun drawing. Sorry, I'm going to take you off.
I'm sorry, I was testing the capability of the
Yeah, well, and it's clunky unless you have, if you have, sometimes you can get the Wacom tablets that allow you to, unless you have other capability in there. Or if you've got one of the really fancy computers where you've got the stylus and you can just do it right on the screen.
We could work with this through an iPad, perhaps.
Yes, there's one caveat you have to think about with that. But yes, you could do it with an iPad. Okay? So you've got the chat. You'll see this here. You also can send everyone messages. If a student's having difficulty, they can also just send a message to you through that chat saying, hey, I'm here, but I'm trying to troubleshoot my audio or whatever it is, right? Okay, record. Down here, I can record. Now, two options, record on this computer or record to the cloud. If you choose to record to the cloud, it'll do it. But if you get too many of those, you'll get a nasty email from Al Ostel. It tells you it's not supposed to be your holding place for your recording, so take them off, okay? Because there's only so much space on the Lipscomb's version of Zoom Cloud. So I usually record to my computer. Now, when you're using an iPad, this is an issue. You don't really have a way to record to your iPad. So you have to record it to the cloud, but then remember to go to your computer and download it from the cloud to your computer. Because, again, there's a limited amount of space up in the cloud, okay?
And if you want to save space on your computer, I guess you could download it to downloads and then upload it to Panopto and then free up.
Or Canvas Studio, yes, absolutely, you can do that.
Where do you find those recordings?
Okay,
Did you record to the cloud?
so let me go back here, and I can show you that. Oh. Okay. So when I've logged in, right? This is my profile. This is where you can upload your picture if you want. Right here, recordings. Okay, and if you have recordings in the cloud, they show up right here, and you have the option to download them from there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Trying to think. All right, let's go back to.
Do your participants have the opportunity to also download those, or it's just the
Also
it's just
download.
the host that records the meeting?
Right. Now, they can record on their own computer if they want.
Because when I tried to record, I had to get permission from you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is possible for them to record.
Okay.
I would rather record and make it available to them personally. But, you decide.
Sure.
Yep. Okay, so we went through all this. This just a reminder of the way that looks. Sharing from your computer. So when you're sharing your whatever you want to share to them, you want to have it open in the background. Then it will show up in here. But notice desktop, and at the time I did this, I actually had 2 monitors going, right? So it showed me both desktops here. But if you do desktop, it's the whole thing. I think it's cleaner, and I'd rather just choose the particular file I'm wanting to share. So the PowerPoint. So it just all depends upon what you're wanting to do, right? As to the best way to go about that. And then this is an example of it sharing. You see the green outline, that's what it shows you. That's how you know what's being shared on your computer. And then you'll see the stop share button, and that's what you do to stop sharing that particular piece. So you can stop it and then share again and choose something different to share them. This is our recording, we talked about that. When you record on your computer, it creates automatically a Zoom folder in your Documents folder. And when it does that, then it creates a folder for every session you've recorded. And it will have the date and time stamp on that folder name. Inside that folder, you'll see 3 files. Audio only file, which is an M4A, the MP4, which is the video, and then this playback.m3u, which, Forrest, I don't even know what that is. Do you know what M3u, that one?
I think it's like a playlist, but I can't remember.
It's not
really
any.
useful.
It's not anything I've ever needed.
Yeah.
So the MP4, that's the file. That's the video file. That's the file. If I need to make the recording available to my students, that's the file I make available to them.
And if you have selected to export the chat, let's say you wanted to review who actually commented during class, there would be a text file in that same folder.
And it says chat, like it. So you can see all the chat that happened. That is a good way too to kind of, during the session it's a little hard to keep track of who's actually there sometimes and not. So you go back to the chat and you can see who else participated in the chat. Yeah.
So when does the recording actually start if you click?
When you click record automatically, it starts the moment the first person comes in the room.
Even in the separate breakout, even the holding room?
No, it's when you come into the main room.
Save some editing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Participants automatically recorded in the file someplace so you can take attendance easily.
You would just like have to go back to record it. I mean, look at the recording to take attendance. Yeah.
But they'll show up in the gallery?
They do. They show up, but sometimes because when you get your session going, it gets, it's a little hard to keep up with who's there, who's not, all that kind of thing. So I usually tell folks just to know that you're fully engaged, get in the chat area, give us a hello, tell us one quick, exciting thing that happened to you today or something. I mean, and then everybody's having to respond, and I see that I have it saved the chat automatically, and I can take attendance that way. But that's just me. So
I don't know of a roster I don't know if they're who signed in roster. So using the chat with a opening question or required something is a good way.
Now I will say, do y'all know you can take attendance directly in Canvas now? Y'all know that? Mm-hmm. That is cool. Like, I don't know if you've used the Canvas app on your phone to take attendance. I like that even better than on my computer. So if I'm in Zoom and I want to keep up with who's there and who's not, I can easily pull up Canvas and just hit here, here, here. Done. So, I mean, that's a really cool feature that's been added fairly recently, Canvas. Okay.
Do you have to actually click everyone off as being present, or does it pick it up from their phones?
You have to say they're present. Yeah.
The easiest thing is to click all present.
Yeah, you can.
Unclick
And then the ones who aren't there. Yes, absolutely. You could do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's a lot about Zoom. I forgot to tell the last group this, but you can close out of Zoom. That's how you get out of it. So notice down here, I have an end meeting. So I can just end that meeting right here, and I can end it for all or just leave. So I'll go ahead and end it for all. Okay, look, my chat saved right here in my Zoom folder. Right there. So all of your chat messages I have preserved. All right. Canvas Studio. There are two options for video integrated within Canvas. How many of you have used Canvas Studio? No? Okay. Okay. I'm going to get you excited about Canvas Studio. All right. So Canvas Studio is fully integrated. The main menu bar from your dashboard in the purple, it shows up right there. Okay? You just simply click it, and it takes you into Studio and to your My Upload screen. Everybody automatically has that because you're a Canvas user.
There's a question?
Yep.
I have something in my Canvas Studio I don't remember putting in there.
Oh,
I
that's,
showed a video clip in class,
uh-huh.
and it's in my Canvas Studio.
Well, you must have put it there somehow.
Yeah, I just don't remember how to put it.
Okay, well, we're going to take a look at how you do this. When you first go to Canvas Studio, so you have in the My Uploads screen, you have this at the very top right, record, add, or search. So search, obviously I could search any videos I have there. Add, I could add a video that's already been recorded. And record, I can record a video right here. When I go to recording, I have two options, screen capture and webcam. Webcam's my face, screen capture is like whatever on my computer that I'm wanting them to see in the video. When you go to webcam, it's just your face. There's no other option, okay? If you want to have your face and slides or something like that, you're gonna go to screen capture. And then once you go to screen capture, you'll get some other options, okay? But the first time you go to screen capture, it's gonna come up with this. You have to download the screen capture application. So go ahead and do that. You've got to do it to get it to work. And then go back to screen capture once you've installed it. Okay, notice this rope around it. When you go to screen capture, anything in the roped area is what is going to be recorded. I can adjust that roped area. You see those little brackets there? That tells me that I can make that smaller, or probably not bigger. It's probably as big as it'll go, but I can make it smaller, okay? I I can choose just the screen. I can choose just the webcam from here, or I can choose both webcam and screen. All right? So I just click on it to choose it. So the webcam recording is very simple. If you just do a webcam, it just simply start recording, stop recording. That's it. Okay? You have a few more things when it comes to the screen capture because you have to determine what area of your screen. Okay? The recorded video shows up on your My Uploads page in Canvas. Then you can add a Canvas Studio video to any assignment, discussion, page, anything in Canvas that has the rich text editor. Okay? This is the icon you look for, and I'm going to show you that in the editor in just a minute. Now, so if I click this icon in the editor, then it's going to take me to my uploads here. It'll come up as a window up on top of my canvas, and I can choose which video. When I put my cursor over it, it'll have this blue overlay, and I can click select this to select that particular video. When I do, it comes to this screen. And on this screen, this is my video, and I have two options down here. I can display download option. So do I want my students to be able to download this video to their computer? If so, I'm going to turn that on. Right now it's turned off. Allow comments. You see that that's turned on. When I first started using this, I saw that, I was like, do I want them commenting on what my hair looks like that day? I don't think so, right? I mean, like, I was just like, okay, why would I want them to comment on that? And so I had to really think about that, but here's what I learned. If you allow comments, it also gives you access to very quick analytics that's extremely helpful. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to live with that being there so that I can get the analytics. And then down here, you just click embed. This is where you get the analytics. When in that assignment, wherever I put it, down below it, it's going to show this. It's going to have a place. These are all tabs. So you can click on it, details, comments, click on insights. This insights tells me all my students will be listed here, and then I can see exactly how much of the video they watched. So I do that, I click on somebody's name, and it shows me, oh, Hope only watched 2 minutes of a 12-minute video. No wonder she didn't understand that part, right? So I can see for every individual student how much of that video they watched. And that's only given to you when you check the comments. I'd like the analytics without the comments, but, you know.
Why would you not want to display the download option?
It's totally up to you. If you want them to be able to download it to their computer, you can. I'm thinking they're watching it within Canvas, so it's not needed.
Oh, okay.
But I could make it an option and turn that on.
Just one more way.
Yeah, sure. Okay. You also have the option to add a quiz to any Canvas Studio video. Okay. You go to your My Uploads page, you put your cursor over the video, and you go to the 3 dots here, and create quiz is an option. So you create the quiz right there, which is really cool to be able to have a quiz embedded in the video. Okay, so they
stop at certain points and like ask a question, or does it show the quiz after the video?
So I have not made my own quiz right now. That's one thing that's on the horizon for me, but I don't know if it'll allow you to do that start and stop in Canvas Studio right now. I mean, I'd have to look that up. I do know in Panopto, you have the same capability, and it's very clear that you can do that. So you can take it to certain timestamp in the video, ask this question. Next timestamp, ask this question. So I don't know if that was a satisfactory answer. Okay.
How did you get to there again?
How'd I get to where?
Get into adding the, I'm not seeing it with pop-up create a quiz. Did you go into?
So you go into, so you click on Canvas Studio on that purple bar.
Okay.
Okay.
In that already, where the video was, the recorded video.
Okay.
Gotta go back out of that?
Nope.
Okay.
So you're gonna click on one of your videos, if you have one.
I don't have any of those in.
Okay, so when you have it in there, you
Okay.
can click on a video, and when you do, you get this option to view page. You also see the 3 dots. So then you'll just go to the 3 dots and go up to create quiz.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the other one is Panopto. Very similar to Canvas Studio. It's really all in just what you want to be, what you want to use, you're more comfortable with, and then be consistent. Don't be switching back and forth. You want your students to get used to whatever tools you're choosing. Yes? Okay, so you haven't seen this yet, so I kind of hate to do that to you. I do have a bias. I do like Canvas Studio best, and honestly, the pure reason is it is a lot easier in Canvas Studio to get those analytics like that. You can get them out of Panopto, but it's a little convoluted to do that. It's not as user-friendly to get those.
Does the embedded quiz at Panopto automatically go into Gradebook? Because I assume it automatically goes.
That I do not know. That's something that we'd have to explore. It is a third-party app. Panopto is. So it's not automatically going to show up in this bar like Studio does. Instead, you have to go into your individual course, click on Settings that shows up in this list at the bottom, and then go to Navigation at the top, and then scroll down to the items that are not showing. There's a whole list, and you'll click on the 3 dots next to Panopto, and you'll say Enable. Then be sure to scroll down to the bottom of that page and hit Save. Okay, I've done that a couple of times where I've hit Enable and then I'm like, why isn't it showing? And I was like, oh yeah, I had to click Save at the bottom. When you first go to Panopto, it also is going to prompt you to download some software for it to work well. So you either have the option to open Panopto or download it. First time, just click Download. Because if you click Open and it's not there, it's going to prompt you. It may not do anything, or it's going to prompt you to download. Then once you go back into it, once you've downloaded it, you'll have the option to create a recording or upload media, or create a playlist, or create a new folder. Now, here's one of the big differences. In Canvas Studio, you have the option to have 2 sources, video sources, your webcam and then screen capture. Here you have the option of 3 video sources, okay? So this is your primary source. You have to choose. Right now, this was the FaceTime camera. Instead, you click that. Your primary source is what's going to be big on the screen in the video. So I personally would probably choose my slides for that and the screen capture. And then the audio here is typically going to be your built-in microphone that you're using, unless you have a microphone like hooked in through USB or something, which is an external microphone. I do keep this record PowerPoint and record Keynote in there. If I were using Keynote on a Mac instead of PowerPoint, I could do that. Then my secondary source I'm going to choose here. So this is where I might go to this and choose that FaceTime camera in the list here. And then I can have a secondary too. So this is my third source. Okay? So you have to choose those sources before you record. Again, you're going to have an opportunity to give this a name. So I highly encourage you to think of how you want to name your videos so that you know what's going on, okay? And then you just click record. Once you've chosen your sources, you click record to do your video. When the recording is done, it comes back to this screen. It gives you another opportunity to rename it if you need to. And then you can put a description if you want. You can either delete and record again or upload it. Once you, let's see. Okay, and then it's going to take you, once you do, to the recordings list over here. And there's this link which says Manage Online. And you can click that and go to Panopto Online. It's a third-party app, so everything is stored online. So you can go to online and see all your videos there. Now in Canvas, again, any assignment, discussion, page, wherever, any place you have this rich text editor. Remember this little icon was Canvas Studio? This V icon next to it is where you find Panopto. And that's the list of third-party apps. So you'll simply scroll down, it'll probably be showing up in the list at the bottom. You choose a video to embed, you'll see the video appear in the rich text editor in Canvas once you've embedded it. And you click Save or Update. So this is the way it shows once it's embedded. You'll see that, and then just click Save or Update. So you can add the quiz. Here's the thing, I had to hunt for this to find this. So when I go to Panopto Online, remember that Manage Videos Online? And I click on the video, it brings me to this screen. Right here at the top, there's an edit with a little pencil. If you click that, then it takes you to this screen and you click quizzes, and that's where you find add a quiz. Do you see where it has all of this right here? This is where you can indicate where that quiz comes into play in your video. Okay? Okay, online proctoring of exams. So it is recommended from the CTL that you can have your students record their screens and their webcams using any of the three things we talked about today. Zoom, Canvas Studio, or Panopto. Students can use those too. Zoom, they have to sign up for a free account to be able to do it, unless you make a Zoom session and then just make that available to them. Students then would upload their video with their screen capture and their webcam showing their face to an assignment so that you could see it. So that's just one measure to try to make that so that students realize we are paying attention. But also, Hope mentioned earlier today that they're looking at that quiz logging feature through Canvas, which I hope they get because that will be huge. Because what that does is that's going to tell you, okay, Susie Q over here, when got to question number 2, it shows that Susie Q left that browser window, went somewhere else, and then came back. That logging tells you all of that. So that's something that's to come. They're trying to get added, and Hope is going to do like screen captured videos to show you exactly how to use that when that comes to in the toolbox. Okay? Questions? Thank you for staying a little over.
Proctoring, how do you know that they're not like using, you see the webcam, how do you know they're not using another tab that has all the answers to the quiz?
Okay, so if you see their eyes constantly moving to the side, what are they looking at, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I start asking questions. Hey, I saw you weren't fully engaged. What was going on there? You know, you don't have 100% proof.
Right.
That's why it's not the best. It's what we have right now.
Sure.
And that's why the logging will be another layer of information, because that logging will tell you, hey, yeah, they switched to this window. Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing to prevent them to have that. There really isn't.
There really wasn't a way to stop that.
No. There's also not a way to stop the fact that they have a cheat sheet up their sleeve either.
We're not seeing anything, but they're up all over.
Yeah, you're not seeing anything, but I'm here to tell you that, yeah, or on their phone. They're really sly about stuff like that. I mean, they could be doing that, and you're sitting in the room with them, you don't even know it. So nothing's 100% foolproof. Best thing is to have an exam, require them to do critical thinking where they can't just Google answers.
That's no problem,
I'm just saying, that's the way to solve that.
can we require that everybody take the test at exactly the same time?
If it's like, so let's just say if. None of this has been said yet, but if we get to final exam time and you know how they have, okay, your exam is X time, then yeah, everybody takes it at the same time. You also, in exams within Canvas, can put a time frame on when it's actually available to them. So it's only available during this time.
I was just thinking they can put in a third party and record their entire screen for the test and then ship that out.
Well, it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder with the screen capture. I'm not saying it's impossible, but some of the savvy ones probably could do it, but it will be more difficult for them.
You record something in Panopto, how do you make that available in Canvas?
So you remember when I showed you the V on the rich text editor?
I think so.
And so let me go.
Earlier,
Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in. So let me go back. So right here, there's that V.
Okay.
You click it, and then it's going to show you then you go down to Panopto, and it's going to show you what videos you have available, and you choose it, and it puts it in the rich text editor. Yep. All right. I'm going to be here for a few minutes. Thank you for coming. Oh, before you go, hold on. We know that this is good practice, so let's just take a minute and breathe. Now that you've seen what these tools can do, complete this statement for yourself. My first step in moving toward remote teaching is, and just make yourself a note based on what you've heard today, okay? Just because, I don't know about you, if I don't make a note, I'm going to say, wait a minute, what was that I was going to do? And again, thank you for being here.